Hello friends, hope you are fine. Today we are going to have podcast on Ketu in the 11th house. What will be the results of Ketu in 11th house? As I have said that Ketu is a planet of general malefic nature, one can't expect anything positive out of it. And the results one has to face from this placement in the 11th house. I'll explain them briefly and major issues with respect to placement of Ketu in the 11th house. Ketu becomes a matter of concern only when it gives afflictions in the chart. In case it afflicts its house of placement or it afflicts other planets in the chart, it becomes a cause of concern for the native, a matter of concern for the native. So, in case it afflicts its house of placement in 11th house, it causes problem with friends, it causes issues with elder siblings, it causes obstructions in the sources of income, and there are issues with the fulfillment of desires, literal desires even, and wishes also, and there are issues with the enterprises of the native, with the initiatives of the native, with the self effort capacity of the native. There are progeny issues also, and one faces losses in speculation, in gambling, and speculation in highly high risky assets rather. So there are also marital issues faced if Jupiter and Venus are weak in the chart. So marital issues are also faced, or issues with respect to partnerships, maybe life partner and the partnerships in general. So these are the major issues that one has to face with the placement of Ketu in the 11th house when Ketu afflicts its house of placement. However, if Ketu does not afflict its house of placement, it will create little problem during its antardasha only, and that will depend on the if Saturn is utterly strong, Venus is utterly strong, Sun is utterly strong, rather Moon is utterly strong, Mars is utterly strong, then Ketu won't be able to involve the houses aspected, the significations of the aspected houses that won't get spoiled during the antardasha or during the sub period or irrespective of that. But the strength of the concerned planets is must. So what to do now? You can't you can't remove Ketu from 11th house. What you can do, you can remove the malefic elements of Ketu, and this is what comprises the scope of astrology. Usually when affliction is more than 50%, it becomes a matter of concern for the native, and native is unable to do things properly. So what is the issue? That remedies for Ketu are must. You can't do anything else than it. You can only do the remedies. Do subscribe the channel, it will become a remedy again, and hit the bell icon to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. So this is all about Aries with Ketu in the 11th house. Now let us move to the Taurus ascendant. So far as Taurus ascendant Ketu is concerned, one of the ascendants who remain disturbed by health and by other issues also, but there are proper remedies to get stabilized. However, Mars is most malefic planet for this ascendant, and Ketu will create more problems even. And if Ketu is placed, as I said, that Ketu is a planet of general malefic nature, one can't expect anything positive out of it. So there will be issues with respect to the significations involved, and in case Ketu afflicts its house of placement, it becomes a matter of concern for the native. In case it does not give any affliction in the chart, it only creates little problem during its antardasha, isn't it? There are no issues other than that. Now, however, if there are cases that when Ketu afflicts its house of placement in the chart, it creates problem with friends, with elder siblings, with there are obstructions in the sources of income, rather in gains and income. There need to faces obstructions, and there are issues in fulfilling desires and wishes also. So one faces issues with the enterprises also, with the initiatives and with the self effort also. There are progeny issues, there are risks involved, and there are losses with respect to investments rather. Marital issues are also there if the extent of affliction is quite severe. So in case Moon is utterly strong, Mercury is utterly strong in the chart, few significations can be safeguarded despite the affliction of Ketu. However, if Ketu does not afflict its house of placement in the 11th house, there will be little issues during its antardasha also, and that will depend on the strength of the concerned planets that I have mentioned, that they should and they must be strong enough, and the concerned planet should be strong enough. And Ketu, you can't remove Ketu from 11th house, but what you can do, you can remove the malefic influence of Ketu, and that is possible only with the proper remedies for Ketu. So do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this, and increase your content, increase your knowledge on Vedic astrology. Now, Gemini ascendant, one of the most malefic planets for Geminians is Ketu. Ketu creates mess in case of Geminians, and the case becomes sensitive when it afflicts its house of placement in the chart. As I have said that Ketu is a planet of general malefic nature, one can't expect anything positive out of it. So when Ketu afflicts its house of placement in the 11th house, it causes issues with elder siblings, with friends, with respect to desires and wishes. There are obstructions in gains and income, and one faces issues with enterprises, with initiatives, with self efforts, with elder siblings as well. There are progeny issues, there are issues with respect to love marriage also, and one has to face losses out of investments, out of gambling. There are losses being felt, and progeny issues are there. One also faces marital issues as well due to the affliction of Ketu from the 11th house. However, if Sun is utterly strong, Venus, Jupiter, Mercury, and Mars also, if all these planets are utterly strong in the chart, Ketu won't be able to cause any problem with respect to these significations that I have mentioned. So in case Ketu does not give any affliction in the chart, it will create problem during its Antardasha only. There will be no effect of Ketu in the period apart from Antardasha, and that effect will be little depending on the factors like strength of Mercury, Sun, Venus, and Jupiter itself, and Mars also being the lord of Ketu in this case. Now, these are the main points that one has to take into consideration. Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos. Now, you can't remove Ketu from 11th house, but what you can do, if there is affliction of Ketu in your chart, you can do the consistent and regular remedies for Ketu in order to avoid its malefic influence, and this is what comprises the scope of astrology. Now, Cancer ascendant, Mars is benefic planet for Cancer ascendant, and it won't create such a problem, but Moon should be utterly strong in the chart, Mars should be utterly strong in the chart. So Ketu becomes, as I said, the Ketu is a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it if it's placed in 11th house and it afflicts its house of placement. It becomes a matter of concern for the native. It causes issues with elder siblings. It causes issues with friends. It causes issues with respect to desires and wishes. It causes obstructions in income and gains, and there are issues with the younger siblings as well, with respect to enterprises, with respect to initiatives in life, with respect to self effort. There are progeny issues as well. There is failure of love marriage also, and childbirth issues are there, and one faces losses in speculations and investments, and marital problems will also be there in this case. So if Mercury is utterly strong, Venus, Jupiter, Moon, Sun, Mercury, all these planets are utterly strong in the chart, the significations of the houses aspect that will get safeguarded to the great extent. However, if the concerned planets are utterly weak in the chart, native has to face issues out of Ketu, and the problem gets worsened further when the Lagna rises in the Ketu nakshatra. That becomes a cause of concern. However, if Ketu does not afflict its house of placement, it won't create any problem other than during its Antardasha, and that problem will still depend on the other factors like the strength of other planets in the chart, especially Mars, Jupiter, Mercury, Sun. These major planets should be utterly strong in the chart, apart from Moon being the ascendant lord. So do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this, and keep increasing your knowledge on Vedic astrology by subscribing to the channel. Now, Leo ascendant. In case of Leo ascendant, Mars is one of the benefic planets. One of the amazing planets for Leo ascendant is Mars. Gives good results in this Rashi. Now, as I said that Ketu is a planet of general malefic nature, one can't expect anything positive out of it. So it becomes a matter of concern for the native, and it gives affliction in the chart. And in case it afflicts its house of placement in the 11th house, it causes issues with elder siblings, with problems with friends, problems with respect to desires and wishes. It causes obstructions in the income and gains, And there are issues with the enterprises, with the younger siblings, with initiatives in life, with the self-making efforts rather. And there are progeny issues as well. There are issues with respect to love marriage also. One is unable to succeed in love marriage also. And there are issues of facing losses out of speculative investments rather. And marital issues will also be there. However, if Venus, Jupiter, Sun, Saturn, these planets are utterly strong in the chart, it will safeguard the significations of the houses aspected. One won't face such series of issues despite the affliction of Ketu from the 11th house. But the concerned planet should be utterly strong in the chart. Mars should also be strong in the chart. So if Ketu does not afflict its house of placement, it creates little problem during its Antardasha only, and it becomes a cause of concern only during its Antardasha. And that will itself depend on the strength of the concerned planets, isn't it? So these are the main points. To subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. Now, as I said that Ketu is placed in 11th house, you can't remove Ketu from the 11th house, but what you can do, you can remove the malefic influence of Ketu. And this is what comprises the scope of astrology, isn't it? This is the scope of astrology that should be there and that should be utilized. So remedies are important for Ketu, so as to avoid its malefic influence. Now, Virgo ascendant chart, Mars is the most malefic planet for Virgos, and Ketu creates mess in case of Virgos. It leads to destructions, one is unable to understand what is happening, but this is true, what I am saying. So in case, as I've said, that Ketu is a planet of general malefic nature, you can't say that it will be positive in case of any Lagna. So if Ketu afflicts its house of placement or afflicts other planets in the chart, it becomes a matter of concern for the native. So in case it afflicts its house of placement in the 11th house, it leads to issues with elder siblings, it leads to issues with friends, it causes obstructions in income and gains. There are issues with desires and wishes also. One faces issues with enterprises, with initiatives, with self-making efforts. There are also losses out of investments also. There are failures in love marriage, and there are issues with the higher education as well, if Mercury and Jupiter are weak in the chart. And there are marital issues as well in Venus, if Venus and Jupiter are weak in the chart. And Moon should be utterly strong, Mars should be utterly strong, Mercury should be utterly strong, Jupiter should be utterly strong, even Sun should be utterly strong, isn't it? So these are the major planets, these are main planets that should be strong, and that will safeguard the from the malefic influence of Ketu itself. In case Ketu does not give any, there are losses. One is unable to have gains in life out of this placement. If Ketu is closely afflicting 11th house, one would be able to have gains in life. This is one of the major issues, because 11th house, 3rd house, these are few houses. 3rd house, 11th house, Lagna, these are the three houses. They occupy most important place in astrology. 3rd house, 2nd house, Lagna, and 11th house, isn't it? One of the most important houses considered in astrology. So one have no gains, despite working hard, but remedies are there. Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. So you can't remove Ketu from 11th house, but you can remove the malefic influence of Ketu, and that is possible with the consistent remedies, isn't it? So this is what comprises the scope of astrology. So this is all about Virgos with Ketu in 11th house. Now, Libra ascendant chart, in case, as I've said, that Ketu is a planet of general malefic nature, one can't expect anything positive out of it. When Ketu is placed in 11th house, and in case it afflicts its house of placement in the chart, it causes issues with the elder siblings, it causes issues with friends, there are issues with respect to desires, and there are obstructions in income and gains, isn't it? So one faces issues with enterprises, with initiatives in life, with self-making efforts also. There are issues with respect to progeny also. Childbirth issues are there. One is unable to conceive a baby, but proper remedies are there. There are issues of loss due to loss out of investments and gambling rather. So one is unable to succeed in marital life as well. However, if Venus is utterly strong, there are issues of marital issues also out of this affliction. Now, if in case Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, Sun, all these planets are utterly strong in the chart, the native won't face any problem out of Ketu affliction. Despite the affliction of Ketu, native won't be able to observe these problems in the life. But in case any of these planets are weak, the significations of that planet, especially the significations of third house, seventh house, and fifth house, they will get spoiled during the period of Ketu, or out of that if close affliction is there, isn't it? The impact will be long lived. In case Ketu does not give any affliction in the chart, it will create problem only during its Antardasha, and it will affect the 11th house in that case, not the houses aspect, because that will be a wide aspect and that does not play any role in the astrology. Now, what are the remedies? Do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, and get notified for the upcoming videos like this. You can't remove Ketu from 11th house, but you can remove the malefic influence of Ketu, and this is what comprises the scope of astrology, isn't it? So then comes the Scorpio ascendant. In case of Scorpio, it's a Virgo, 11th house. As I said that in this sign it gets exalted, but it does not mean that it will give always positive results. In extremely exceptional cases it gives good results, but that's the puzzle that only an astrologer knows. And however, when Ketu, as I said, Ketu is a planet of general malefic nature, one can't expect anything positive out of it. When Ketu is placed in its house of placement, when Ketu afflicts its house of placement in the 11th house, it leads to issues with the friends, with elder siblings. It causes obstructions in income and gains. There are issues with respect to wishes and desires, and one faces issues with the enterprises, with initiatives, with self-making efforts. There are issues with the progeny issues are there. There are issues that one has to face losses out of investment and gambling, and one is unable to succeed in love marriage also. There are issues with the life partner also. However, if Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Mercury, these planets, especially I have mentioned, if they are utterly strong in the chart, it won't be able to get disturbed out of Ketu affliction, and the significations of the houses aspect will be safeguarded. So in case Ketu does not give any affliction in the chart, it won't create any problem at all, but it will create little problem during its Antardasha, and that itself will depend on the factors like the strength of other planets that I have mentioned. So do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, or get notified for the upcoming videos like this, and you will have many things to know, and the content will be quite unique, to the point, relevant, concrete, no storytelling like this, to the point, what you need to know on practical grounds. So these are the main points that one has to. Now you can't remove Ketu from 11th house. What you can do, you can remove the malefic influence of Ketu, and this is possible with the consistent remedies, regular remedies, in order to remove the malefic influence of Ketu from the chart. And this is what comprises the scope of astrology. Now Sagittarius ascendant chart, and in case of Sagittarius ascendant, Jupiter should be being the Lagna Lord, utterly strong in the chart, and the only native can succeed in life. However, Ketu is a planet of general malefic nature, as I have repeated over and again, and if Ketu afflicts its house of placement in 11th house, it becomes a matter of concern for the native. In such cases, it leads to issues with elder siblings, issues with friends, issues with desires and wishes. There are obstructions in income and gains, and one faces issues with enterprises, with initiatives, with self efforts, with younger siblings. There are issues with respect to with respect to output of investment, isn't it? There are issues like progeny issues, childbirth issues are there. One is unable to get success in love life, this love marriage also. There are issues of marital life also. However, if Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Mars, these planets are utterly strong in the chart, native won't be able to get affected by the affliction of Ketu, isn't it? Despite the affliction of Ketu, native won't feel these issues, because the significations of the houses concerned, they will be safeguarded by the strength of their lords. So in such case, Ketu won't be able to impact the native to such an extent. But that's usually exceptional case, that all planets are so strong, but this is a point. However, if there are no afflictions, Ketu does not give any affliction, it does not afflict its house of placement or afflicts other planets in the chart, it causes problem only during its Antardasha. It's a little, the extent of problem is little, in the sense that it depends on the strength of other planets concerned as well. So do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. These are the main points regarding Ketu in the 11th house in case of Sagittarius ascendant. Now Capricorn ascendant, for Capricorn ascendant, Mars is one of the most benefic planets considered gives amazing results and gets exalted in this sign also. However, if Ketu is placed in 11th house, as I said, that Ketu is a planet of general malefic nature, one can't expect anything positive out of it, and it becomes a matter of concern only when it gives affliction in the chart. Either it afflicts its house of placement, either it afflicts the planets aspected, and it afflicts the houses aspects as well. So its affliction becomes a cause of concern in the chart. If it's placed in 11th house and it afflicts its house of placement, it causes issues with elder siblings, issues with friends, it causes obstructions in income and gains, issues with respect to wishes and desires, isn't it? So there are issues with the enterprises, with initiatives, with self-making efforts. There are progeny issues, childbirth issues, I mean to say. There are issues with the investment outputs, and there are issues like one is unable to succeed in love marriage, and there are issues with the marital life as well, especially when moon is utterly weak in the chart. So Jupiter, Sun, Mercury, Venus, Moon, these planets should be utterly strong in the chart. And in this case, Ketu is exalted. When a malefic planet is exalted, it creates double problem. It should be kept into mind. In this case, Ketu is in Scorpio, and in Scorpio sign it gets exalted. When Ketu gets exalted, and on the one hand, on the other hand, it afflicts its house of placement in the chart, it will create mess. Always it will create mess. So under such circumstances, problems will be more worsened. Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. And what you can do, you can't remove Ketu from 11th house, but you can remove the malefic influence of Ketu, and this is what comprises the scope of astrology, isn't it? So let us come to the Aquarius ascendant chart. In case of Aquarius ascendant, Ketu is placed in the 11th house, and as I said, Ketu is a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it, and if Ketu gives affliction in the chart, it becomes a matter of concern for the native. In case it afflicts its house of placement in the 11th house, and it will lead to issues with the friends, issues with elder siblings, and there will be obstructions in income and gains, issues with respect to desires and wishes, issues with enterprises, issues with initiatives, issues with younger siblings, issues in the shoulders as well, rather, and there will be issues with respect to self efforts also. With courage, one won't feel one will feel lack of courage if Sun and Mercury are weak also in the chart. And there are progeny issues also. There are issues of output of investment, and there are issues of failures in love marriage, and there are marital issues as well, issues with the life partner. However, if Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Saturn, and Jupiter, these planets are utterly strong in the chart, Netu won't feel any problem out of affliction of Ketu, isn't it? Despite the affliction of Ketu, Netu won't feel any problem like that. So there are issues like this that one has to face in case of affliction of Ketu in the 11th house. One has to face issues like this. However, if there is no affliction of Ketu in the 11th house, one won't feel any problem. He will a native will observe little problems out of Ketu during its Antardasha only. Other effects will be felt out, irrespective of Dasha or Antardasha, isn't it? When it afflicts its house of placement. So that is a long-lived impact rather. And that does not depend on Antardasha, that does not depend on Mahadasha, because when it's close in the orbits, and it continuously creates problem, and native is unable to understand what is happening, isn't it? So most of the natives, they see Dasha, Antardasha. It's not must. If you are facing a problem out of Antardasha, if you are facing a problem out of Dasha, it means that planets are working irrespective of their planetary periods, isn't it? I have seen many clients, on practical aspect, that irrespective of Dasha of Ketu, irrespective of Antardasha of Ketu, the native is in problems. Transit also plays a role, but when Ketu is afflicting in the chart, when Ketu gives close afflictions in the chart, either it afflicts its house of placement, or either it afflicts other planets closely, isn't it? So that becomes a matter of concern for the native. So these are the most important points. Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for videos like this. Now the last ball of this series, the Pisces ascendant. In case of Pisces ascendant, Mars should be utterly strong, and Mars is a benefic planet giving good results in this sign. And as I said, that Ketu is a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it, isn't it? Now, it becomes a matter of concern for the native when Ketu gives affliction in the chart. In case it afflicts its house of placement in the chart, it leads to issues with elder siblings, issues with friends, issues with respect to desires and wishes. There are obstructions in the source of income, also in income, and one is unable to have gains in life, isn't it? He has nothing in hands, despite hard work, despite this, despite that. There are issues with enterprises, there are issues with initiatives, there are issues with self efforts, and there are issues with there are progeny issues as well, childbirth issues as well. One is unable to have output out of investments, rather. One is unable to get succeed in love marriage also. And there are marital issues as well. These are the main issues that one has to face. However, if Moon, Mercury, Jupiter, Mars, and Jupiter, Mars, and Sun also, if these planets are utterly strong in the chart, the impact of Ketu won't be felt by the native Ketu, because the significations of the houses aspected, they will get safeguarded because of the strength of their lords and the general significance of their houses. However, if the said planets are utterly weak in the chart, it will create problem for the native when Ketu is giving afflictions on the other hand. In case Ketu does not give any affliction in the chart, it will create problem only during its Antardasha, and the problem will be low, despite during Antardasha the problem will be still low, but it will depend depending on the strength of other planets in the chart. It will depend accordingly. So these are the main points that one has to consider out of this placement of Ketu in 11th house in case of Sagittarius ascendant chart, and in case of Pisces ascendant chart. And in Pisces, Mars should be strong, Jupiter should be strong, Mercury should be strong. All these major planets should be utterly strong in the chart. Then only native can enjoy life despite the affliction of Ketu. Now, overall, the affliction of Ketu to 11th house is a mess, because it's the house of gains and desires. It's house of income, what you gain in life, isn't it? And this plays an important role. And do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. You can't remove Ketu from 11th house, but what you can do, you can remove the malefic influence of Ketu. And problem gets worsened even if a Lagna, a Pisces ascendant Lagna, and a Pisces ascendant chart, or a Pisces Lagna, it rises in a Ketu nakshatra. That becomes Ketu on the other hand gives affliction in the chart. So it's a Gandamul nakshatra. The native faces only challenges and struggles in life. So that becomes a cause of concern. But the remedies are there in order to get out of these issues. One has to follow constant and proper remedies for Ketu so as to remove its malefic influence. This is all about Ketu in 11th house. Bye bye.